Welcome to Now You Know Destiny. This is a special episode since we've kind of been away. Things have been happening. We really haven't written any things for the show
Going
notes.
off the
So this is
top.
going to be a special episode between us. Our favorite games. Yes, our top 5 games of all time. And to start off, I mean, it's not really going to be ranked. Like these are like our favorite favorites of like ever existing kind of thing. This is like these are games we like enjoy and playing, but they're not like ranked. Like, sure, one is technically higher than the other, but we're not going to tell you the numbers.
Quite frankly, that's a level of detail I don't think I
Yeah,
could
it's really
get
hard.
into right now. Anyway,
I mean, if I'm
way too
completely
difficult.
honest, I had a hard time picking five. To be honest, I had to think about it.
Yeah, I mean, I just checked my list and I only wrote 4. I forgot the 5th.
I'm sure you'll find it.
Yeah, probably. I got some time. If anything, I mean, I don't know. I mean,
Um,
I don't know. Maybe probably at the time it'd be Animal Crossing. I have been playing a crap ton of that. Let me pull my Switch out and check my playtime real quick.
I am so glad that the Switch does not give you exact playtimes, because
95 hours or more.
exactly, because I don't want to know.
You think-
I
you-
put so much time into
you think
Odyssey and
that's-
Breath of the Wild?
Oh, what do you think your numbers are for Breath of the Wild? Because mine's 175.
Oh, I'm up there, probably 175 to 200 as well.
And I haven't even completed the game yet.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
yeah, that's
I
that
haven't
game.
100%ed that game yet. I still need to find all the Korok seeds.
Oh, are Korok seeds
what
part
else
of
do
the
I need to do?
100%? Because I don't know if I could mentally handle that.
They're part of the personal 500%, 100%.
That's agreeable. That's fair. I cannot argue with that. I've gotten all of the shrines.
Yeah, I got all the shrines. I have all of the outfits. I need to upgrade all of the outfits, which requires a lot of money
Yeah.
and materials. Do you have any idea how hard it is
so I
farming
gotta
dragon
ask,
parts?
like, how do you guys want to do this format wise? Like, do we want to?
Oh yeah, we got to do a format, don't we?
I'd say we just round robin, and each of us pick a game, and then we just take turns.
Since I started with 2 of them, I want to continue on with Zelda. I have played Zelda for almost as long as I can remember. My memory began, and then we had a Super Nintendo and an N64 in the house. And the N64 had both Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. Now, as like a 6-year-old, I was terrible. Like, I couldn't even beat Deku Tree.
Damn.
Like, I didn't even know how to get to the boss room in Deku Tree. That's how bad I was. I went over a friend's house one day. He had Minish Cap. And I tell my mom before we leave, I really like that game. Next Christmas, she gets me a Link to the Past
Ooh.
because they're both on the Game Boy, and she didn't know the difference.
And still, Link to the Past is pretty good.
I mean, yeah, Link to the Past, in my opinion, is way better than Minish Cap, though the Minish Cap graphics are better. Because Link to the Past was like the Super Nintendo game that came out, and they remastered it or brought it forward for the Game Boy, and it was amazing. As a kid, I could get to the second half of the game where you go into the Dark World. I could complete a few dungeons to get some crystals, but I couldn't do anything after that. So I kept resetting the game, playing it, resetting the game, playing it, and blah, 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 blah. Then fast forward to like teenage years. I revisit the game because I find it in my closet one day. I'm like, I want to try it. Let's beat it. And I beat the game like, wow, that was awesome. At the time, I've only played Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask for a handful of times like a 6-year-old. So not very much. Then I play Link to the Past to its completion. I loved it, and I wasn't able to play another Zelda game until Skyward Sword, which
Really?
I will say now I loved. I loved
I enjoyed
Skyward
the
Sword.
heck out of Skyward Sword. I'm just surprised
I don't
that
know. I didn't get the hate. I mean, I understood some of the hate for it. I just loved it.
I'm just surprised that like Twilight Princess got skipped over for you, because that one.
I didn't have a GameCube.
Well, no, they made it for the Wii as well, which came with Skyward Sword.
Yeah. Okay. Here's the thing. As a growing up, you always want the newer things.
That's fair.
So like, oh, a new Zelda came out. Let's play it. And I loved it. I fell in love with it instantly. Like the art, the combat, everything about it. I didn't care for the breakable shields part, but you get the Hylian shield is invincible. And then we fast forward. Yeah, I couldn't play any other games till Breath of the Wild. And then I also got Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time on the DS now. Haven't played either since. No, wait. I completely skipped over A Link Between Worlds. I beat that game. I beat that one, and then I beat Ocarina of Time on the DS because I had a girlfriend at the time who was very benevolent with borrowing with her Zelda games.
So then, what would you put your top Zelda games at?
Top Zelda games.
Again, no particular
I'd
order,
have to.
but
Link to the Past, 100% is up there. Ocarina of Time because I have very like much nostalgia for it, even though I was like crap at it. Funny memory about Ocarina of Time, real quick. I accidentally deleted my brother's 100% file, and I never got in trouble for it. I mean, I feel bad for it now. Granted, because I had profile number 1, which had no progress on it, but I still deleted his file 3. Anyways, so Link to the Past is up there. Ocarina of Time, because it's got like nostalgia. I kind of like Majora's Mask for like weirdness of it. The mechanics were very unique. Skyward Sword, because I really liked the innovations they did with emotion stuff. But if I had to get a number 1, it would have to be Breath of the Wild. Not just because it revolutionized the way you play a Zelda game, because they removed a lot of like the traditional features, and I put that in quotes, traditional, because you could run, walk, climb literally anything as long as it wasn't a shrine piece. But a huge adventuring they allowed you to do was amazing, like Skyrim but Zelda looking. So that's my number 1 Zelda game. The other ones I can't put a number on.
that's understandable. Breath of the Wild was just great.
Plus the music. The music too. Did you know if you speed up the music by the Temple of Time, it is Zelda's Lullaby?
Huh. That makes a lot of sense in hindsight.
Because when you go to the Temple of Time, it plays one or two notes every few seconds. Someone sped that up, and it's just Zelda's Lullaby stretched out.
Yeah.
Okay, you Havoc Frog. What's your top?
Top Zelda game?
I can see them here, but people don't know it.
Top game or Zelda game?
Top game. We're going off of our favorite
Okay.
games, not our like of certain genres.
For me, it's gotta be Pokemon.
Based on your list, please be more specific.
I'm getting there. Give me a moment. So, quick thing on my list. I consider Pokemon and Pokemon Mystery Dungeon separate games. I can explain that more if you want.
I get you. I mean, I get you. It's like playing, it's like saying you only like the Master Chief Halos, but not liking Reach or ODST
Sure.
or Wars. The difference between the spin-offs and the mainland. I get it.
So, I also grew up as the younger brother. The earliest I remember is watching my brother play games on his Game Boy Advance SP, the little square one.
I love the SP. That was my second Game Boy.
And so, I never actually got my own. I got my own console was the original DS. But I still
have one.
played. My first Pokemon game was Pokemon Ruby, and I played the heck out of that.
Out of Ruby?
Ruby, yeah.
I had Emerald.
Emerald, I played a lot of Emerald too. It's just Ruby just came out first, and then I got Emerald later on.
Ooh, you're breaking up a lot there.
Sorry, what?
You're breaking up a lot.
Oh, yeah, I hear that.
And me too. Oh, it's back up. No, back down.
This is really weird.
Technical difficulties, y'all. Sorry.
I think it's me.
Looks like my connection's weak. Let me speed test. All right. Well, it seems to be better right now, and my download's fine.
Yes.
Upload's fine as well.
Yeah. I think all our voices dropped that instance. So maybe it was a Discord thing.
Not that surprising. I've had that happen quite a few times recently with.
Discord's been under a lot of stress. But anyways, Pokemon.
Um.
I grew up on Leaf Green and Emerald with Blue and Crystal.
Mm-hmm. And the thing about me with Pokemon, I am a grass type fan. Grass types.
Really? So you like Trico?
Trico, yes. Trico. My favorite is probably Turtwig. If I had to pick,
that's a good one. That's a good
favorite
one.
starter, maybe even favorite Pokemon of all time. Because I'm also a fan of Turtles.
Fair. So what about Squirtle?
Squirtle.
What about the Squirtle gang?
Squirtle gang was amazing. Speaking of, I tried to rewatch the Pokemon anime like 6 months back
because Indigo League's on Netflix.
The last third of the first season just doesn't exist anywhere I could find on the internet, and I was really upset.
It's on Netflix. Yeah, the Indigo League is on Netflix.
Yeah, but they only have the first 2/3 of the season.
What?
Yeah, I was watching it on Netflix, and it just it just stopped. Also,
that makes no sense.
That show did not hold back. There was an old woman who brought out a tank to fight a 30-foot tall Tentacruel.
I mean,
they did have a few banned episodes.
Fair, people get kind of lost in the cute and cuddliness of these. These are still wild animals that are immensely powerful.
Yeah, I mean,
there's
the origin of Pikachu and Ash's friendship is that he protected them against a group of Spearows that were trying to kill him.
There's also the episode
literally.
where Ash is surrounded by like 5 people being held at gunpoint.
Oh, the Safari episode, right?
I don't remember.
Because the Safari owner had used a revolver on a Pokemon.
Yeah, that show was crazy.
Yeah.
But
Oh, also in the manga, they had an Arbok getting cut in half.
Christ.
God.
Like,
And they
you,
canonically
like
they
almost to the
canonically eat Slowpoke tails.
yeah. And, well, also they canonically Pokemon eat a Pokemon. They just glossed over that fact whenever whenever it's on the show.
Oh man, that show.
Anyways, my favorite starter is Cyndaquil.
I always went with
understandable. But
Base form. I don't like his.
I think
I don't like
out
his
of the
evolutions.
starters, I think my favorite was Charmander actually. I mean, I
of
split that
course.
Nice and
fire,
classy.
you know what I'm saying?
I can see that.
Squirtle was my favorite of the Kanto.
The thing is with Pokemon, my loyalty to Grass Stripes is stronger, and I had to go Bulbasaur, and I go Bulbasaur every time.
I mean, also in the old games, Bulbasaur has a very quick XP leveling. Like he requires a lot less. XP.
Does he? I actually
Yeah.
had no idea.
He'll level up faster because he requires less XP.
Also, one thing I noticed is I think in Fire Red, at least, in Leaf Green, is that each of the starters had a super effective move for the first gym. I don't know
Yeah.
if Metal was or Steel was a type.
Metal Claw was very effective.
Yeah, I don't know if Steel was a type in like the
You
original
just had to
Red.
grind your Charmander up to 12. I don't know. We could check. I mean, they have it on the DS, Red.
Yeah, that's true.
Fun thing is, Pokemon Blue on the DS still has the Mew glitch, and you can transfer Pokemon from Blue DS to
kinda tight.
Pokemon Bank.
Nice.
So you can farm Mews.
I remember being so hyped when I found you.
Because all you have to do is get to the point where you can transfer Pokemon,
Hey, listen,
transfer your Mew,
I
reset
got
the
a
game, do it again.
confession. Pokemon lost me after the original 151, man. I just never played after
You
that.
didn't like
I mean,
Johto?
it just lost its novelty to me. And
Oh, man,
it
you're
wasn't
missing
even
out.
that like I didn't enjoy the game anymore. It didn't hold my attention past that. So it was really hard to. No, I never had.
Do you have a DS?
No, thank you.
You need to get a DS and get Soul Silver. It is, in my opinion, the best
I mean, it's
Pokemon
not
game
just the
that has
I mean, just
existed.
the overall series. It just got too much for me to follow. Like, just watching the movies and stuff like that. Like, I could only get through I got through like 4, and then after that, I was so lost in the story content.
I mean-
that
Oh,
just
yeah.
was like,
I get
I
it.
don't
Movies-
know what's going on. Who is this new person?
I get it.
Like,
The touchy-feely happiness stuff. I
Also,
get
the
it.
movies in terms of content and continuity are a bit of a hot mess.
Yeah, like.
Yeah, it's like Dragon
Yeah,
Ball.
it was again, like I said, it's nothing against the game or the series or anything like that. I think Pokemon in general is a great series because I definitely got Pokemon Go when that became a thing like a couple years ago. You know what I mean? So that was exciting, and it brought back a lot of that a little bit. I mean, I like
still
that it
played
brought
a
back a
little
little
bit.
bit of the nostalgia of getting out and like catching Pokemon and being like, yeah, like sitting in.
But I mean,
Pokelots,
like, you got... Okay,
trying to catch that Pidgey.
we have to get you to play Soul Silver or Heart Gold because it's like the people who made it just loved Pokemon, and you can tell. It's one of the best experiences you can have in the series.
It was really
And
well
if you
done.
go from Johto to Kanto, so you'll still see original 150.
That part was really nice. You like start out in Kanto with the original 150.
I'm just.
Then you start in Johto, then
I'm just not
Kanto.
that in.
Oh yeah, you're right. You start in Johto and then you get to go back and re-experience Kanto, and it was great.
And just wipe the floor with everybody. Except when
So,
you get red. Anyways.
I wanted to ask people's opinions about like the other Pokemon games, not Mystery Dungeon, but something like Gales of Darkness.
Stadium? I want to get Gales of Darkness. I have a
Anybody
GameCube
wanna chime in?
finally.
Anybody play Pokemon Tales of Darkness?
So, I mean, you get Gales of Darkness, you have Stadium, you have Conquest,
Oh
you
my
have...
God.
Oh my god, remember the
Stadium.
joint with,
Pokemon
I forget-
Ranger.
Pokemon
I
Snap?
forgot about Ranger.
I know. I loved Ranger
Pokemon Snap,
for the DS.
Pokemon
It was so
Snap.
good.
Pokemon
Yes.
Snap.
Pokemon Snap.
Okay. Pokemon
Um,
Coliseum.
Pokemon
I got
Quest.
left at daycare centers a lot, and all of them had Pokemon Coliseum, and that was the thing to play.
I had Stadium. What's the difference?
Or I meant Stadium, not Coliseum.
Well, what's the difference between the two? I know there's a Stadium 1 and 2. Then there's a Coliseum. Was the Coliseum just the GameCube version?
I am getting so lost. now. I'm gonna
And yes, I am at
sum
once.
things up to reorient myself. I'm talking about like the ones that was on the original like
God, I
N64.
remember Snap was so fun.
Yeah, Stadium.
God.
I actually helped a coworker of mine get an N64 for her cousin, and with one of the games we got her was Stadium.
Thinking about it, like I would love that.
I think they had.
Oh,
I think they were talking about doing it. I don't know if they got around to it.
Man. Like, I
But
just remember like trying to get those pictures, dude.
well, they're doing a Mario remaster out this year too.
I want.
It's 35th anniversary. I'm sure they're gonna do a Snap
I
eventually.
want them to do a new Ranger as well.
People shout loud
'cause
enough.
I don't know how I forgot about Ranger, but I played it so much.
I just played it.
And
so
my little
much.
cousin deleted my save, my near 100% save, and I was so broken.
Which was this? Which Pokemon was this?
I'm so sorry.
Ranger.
Pokemon Ranger. It was for the DS.
Lost me at
Like if you watch the movie with Manaphy in it, you could capture a Pokemon using a Beyblade.
That's
Like it was like it looked
Accurate.
like a Pokeball's trust feature, but instead he did a temporary trust feature with a Beyblade spinning around it.
and yeah, you weren't like a direct Pokemon trainer catching them. You would like earn their trust, and they'd just hang around you.
Yeah, like it was kind of like you convinced them to trust you by spinning the Beyblade around them while still light. Kind of, I don't know. It doesn't make sense, but it works. And then you could partner up with them for a while, and you would be like, "Hey, thanks for helping me out. Have a nice day." It was fun. It was fun.
I guess
Anyways.
is that my turn then?
Yeah.
I
Yes,
don't know
it
if
is
it's
your
like
turn
my
now.
top. But I feel like you know, I feel like Destiny is kind of, you know, where we all kind of cross at in terms of how we all came together. So I think I'll start with the Legacy of Kain series. Just because going against the grain, like,
And baited.
I would go through phases with gaming and stuff like that. Like there would be times where I'd be really into it, and then times where I wouldn't be. And I guess just from from the things that I enjoy about games that really kind of hold my attention or make me excited to play, especially back then, was really good meaty story content. And I'll never forget what got me into the Legacy of Kain series was Soul Reaver. I didn't know anything about the series. I didn't know anything about the game's lore or anything like that. All I saw was just like this really cool art of Raziel on the front, and I read the back. It was like, oh, this vampire that was betrayed and he becomes something more. I'm like, okay, whatever. Like I popped that joint on PlayStation and stuff like that. And the opening cutscene is him walking into this court with you know, his brethren and his master Kain and stuff like that, and he's actually evolved wings prior to his. Give me 1 second.
As a quick side note, I feel like we should do like an honorable mention of an obscure game we liked growing up.
That's actually on my list.
An obscure
Yes.
game?
The very last one in my list.
I'm gonna guess what it is. Okay, yeah. Never heard of
yeah,
it.
I figured.
I probably recognize the box art because I just dared to box
sorry
art
about
for games
sorry
at one
about
point.
that. Sorry, wife needed something from me. Yeah, so the opening cutscene, Raziel's evolved wings, and basically how evolution in their society worked would basically always be Kain would evolve first, and then Raziel's brethren would kind of evolve in order of who had gotten the gift first. And Raziel was like the favorite son, so he was right next to Kain, and he was the one Kain had raised first. But anyway, imagine my shock when Kain's kind of admiring Raziel's wings, and Kain literally pulls them out. He just literally rips them out of his back. And I'm like, oh, huh? Say what?
Does he gift them?
No, he literally rips
gift
them out of
them
his back.
afterwards?
And the vampires in this universe are have all of the typical, like, you know, vampire weaknesses: water, silver, sunlight, all that stuff, or whatever, right? So literally he's being punished, and basically the rest of his punishment, his two of his brethren literally are commanded to come with Kain to this whirlpool in the at a point in the world, and they basically cast Raziel into this whirlpool basically to his death, and he gets burnt, literally just burnt into this like emaciated wraith like looking thing, but he's saved by this creature called the Elder God. And it gets, again, that's what had me, right? It's trippy. There's a lot of
Trippy,
stuff.
it sounds like.
I played the game. Now I don't think at first I beat Soul Reaver and stuff like that. I just never got around to it because I think what happened was I had actually rented it. But I was really into it. But then I didn't, for some reason I didn't buy it. Whatever. I can't remember. But anyway, I got PS2, and then Soul Reaver 2 came out. So I was like, okay, I'll do this. I can get back into this. So kind of caught myself up, did some Wikipediaing and stuff like that. This is when I was like living in North Carolina, and I kind of caught myself up on the story or whatever, just so I wouldn't be like totally lost or whatever. But newsflash, whole bunch of lore just smacks me in the face that I had no idea about, because Soul Reaver 2 decides to kind of get really into the meat of the already pre-existing lore of the game, and so it just kind of had its hooks in me. And then I played through Blood Omen 2, and then they made one final game called Legacy of Kain Defiance, where you got to actually play as Raziel and Kain, and kind of got to see this massive story.
Wait, you play these first two games. You don't even get to play the dude the game's named
You
after.
play Kain and Blood Omen. And Blood Omen 2. You get the so it's basically
Okay.
Legacy of Kain series is basically Legacy of Kain, Blood Omen, and I'm saying it in chronological order. It's basically Legacy of Kain, Blood Omen, Blood Omen 2, Soul Reaver 2, and then Defiance. They actually do run in chronological order in terms of like where the stories are set at and stuff like that. It's just like kind of, you could tell like basically with stuff they added in Soul Reaver 2, they kind of had to use that to kind of write Blood Omen 2, and then kind of use all that stuff to then write Defiance. It's interesting, but it literally, like, when I was done with it, I felt like complete. Like, it was like I had gone through this like adventure and everything like that. But man, it was, I love vampires in general, so like I ate this stuff up. Like it was great. And I just, I had a really fun time playing it. And I'd say it's probably the first game that I really kind of ever really got into the lore. Like Defiance had all these like special features, like narrated lore pieces, behind the scenes footage of the voice actors recording for it and stuff like that. It was great. Like it was amazing. Like I'm sitting here like,
I got them in that Square Enix anthology. I'll have to try,
like it's
have to try
great.
'em out.
Like I mean, looking back at it now, because I was like watching some lore videos the other day just to kind of refresh my memory on it and stuff like that. And I was just like watching it, and because especially Soul Reaver, because it was on PS1 and stuff like that, I'm just like looking at the graphics, and I'm like, no, it did not.
It
Like,
didn't
I'm like,
age well,
oh
did it?
my god, how the hell did I get through this? Like, how? Like. But God, man, it was a great experience, and I liked it. So I won't take up too much time with that one. Other than that was probably the first game that really had its hooks in me in terms of like lore and kind of diving deeper past what the content that you actually play.
That cycles into my next favorite, Halo. I like much like Zelda, I grew up on Halo. Like now, I didn't get to play them all. We got an Xbox original sometime after the 64. My memory is hazy, and we got Halo Combat Evolved with it. Now again, I was young, so not good at games in any capacity, and I was deathly terrified of the Flood. So all I did really, outside of LAN parties with my buddy, was play missions 1 through 5 over and over again, to the point where as a 7-year-old I could beat it on Legendary without dying.
Dang.
That's how much I played that game. And all the 1v1s I did with my buddy on Blood Gulch, where I was screen peeking his screen as sniper from a distance. And then I never got 2 because again, I was deathly afraid of the Flood, and I heard the Flood was a big part of the game. Like, I can't do it. I'm not gonna buy a game I can't play. So I couldn't play 2 or 3. I never really got into ODST because I was like, you're not Master Chief, so what's the point? What came first, Reach or Wars?
Wars?
I think it was Wars. I played Wars. I fell in love with that because that was my first game of that style, like StarCraft, like. But I can't get into StarCraft, maybe because it's not Halo looking.
Go ahead.
I fell in love with Wars, and then Reach came out, and to me that was amazing. That was like, you couldn't top that in my opinion. And then 4 came out. I was kind of on the bandwagon if I don't like Chief's armor, but the helmet grew on me. I love the helmet. The storyline was all right. I was mad that they killed Cortana off, but understood that it was like, character progression and stuff like that. Then Halo 5 threw it out the water. But anyway, 4 was fine. I liked 4. And then 5 came out. I'm like, no. I have read the books. I have Ghost Protocol, Contact Harvest, Cold Protocol, The Flood, The Fall of Reach, Ghost of Onyx, Hunters in the Dark, Glasslands, Thursday War, Mortal Didacta, Cryptum, the other two books in the Forerunner saga I can't name right now, and Broken Circle. A decent majority, not all of them. So reading the books, you realize that, oh, Spartans are not invincible. The first encounter with the Covenant, a Spartan dies. And these guys were supposed to be these super soldiers against the insurrection. And it's very clearly painted in the books that Spartans are not all powerful. Nor the games do a good way of painting that. You're like, it's because you're Master Chief. You have that extra factor of luck that makes you survive all this. So all the armor and stuff from the Halo games, like, you realize that there's like some huge flaws. If the Spartans aren't careful, they'll die. And like, 4, it didn't really mess with that formula. I was disappointed. I was a little annoyed at the Spartan 4s. Because I understand technology evolves, you can have people wear the armor, but they shouldn't be nowhere near as strong as Chief. Because he has cybernetic and like he's literally enhanced water. Human. He has cybernetic, like, he has carbon fiber bones to make him stronger. There is no way Spartan Locke could beat him up. And okay, I had to stop. I got strong opinions on that fight. And just that Spartan Force existing in general. Because that's how much I loved the old stuff. Like, I get it. I'm writing the fanboy thing. Like, I love the old stuff. I hate the new stuff. But I mean, Infinite looks amazing. I can't wait to play it. I'm probably gonna buy the X series just for Infinite, and maybe Gears. I don't know. I'm not really a Gears fan, but it's fun to look at. Okay, I gotta stop. I'm gonna keep going. Stop. Frog, your turn.
All right. So the next one I had was Pokemon Mystery Dungeon.
That's why we had to clarify the mainline series.
Yeah, because since they're just such different styles and stories and pretty much anything except the characters in a way.
Yeah, instead of fighting Pokemon, you're the Pokemon.
Well, you still fight Pokemon.
I mean, yeah, but you're not like a dude telling a Charmander to go bite that thing. You're a Charmander literally biting that thing.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Yeah, it's a dungeon crawling RPG, but you're a Pokemon, and you've got a team of Pokemon.
Okay, that's deep.
And
I have the first Mystery Dungeon somewhere.
Red?
Yeah.
My first was Blue, which was just the DS version of Red. I'm pretty sure they were pretty much the exact same game throughout the whole story.
They were exact same, just with different features.
And that
second screen.
That one was pretty great. It got me hooked onto the series, but there was a lot going on at the time, and I never really got back into it until they released Explorers of Space and Explorers of Time. Now, that game did not end for me. I probably put a couple hundred hours, and somehow I never actually made it through the main story.
How?
I don't know. I just remember playing it so much. And I made it to Palkia, which is the... you get to Palkia after Dialga. I got really far, but I don't...
It sounds like they had some kind of feature where they would just auto-generate quests.
That was supposed to be the idea behind Gates of Infinity.
Because it sounds like you just completed the auto quests the entire time.
Oh, the little side quests?
Yeah.
I did do a lot of those.
Refreshed. That sounds that's a big story then.
But no, that's what I was getting. It's just, it had a massive story. Like, even though I probably did a lot of the extra quests, the storyline just doesn't end. I got to Palkia, and that was pretty much the last thing I remember. It was so long ago when I last played Explorers of Space.
Yeah, because that was a DS game, right?
Before, like, the original DS.
It was, really? I thought it was for the Lite when the Lite was out.
It was...
wow, the original DS lasted that long in its lifetime?
It did, actually.
Really? I have one. I'd never really use it because I have two Lights. I have a very nice collection of...
Yeah, I don't think it was out... I think it was out before the Lite came.
Really? Wow, how did I not realize that?
And then with the 3DS came Gates of Infinity, which wasn't bad. It held true to the classic Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, except it had a really short story. Or maybe I just thought it was short after going through what I did with Explorers of Space.
Yeah.
But it felt over so quickly. But the point behind that game was the Infinity Gates, where you could... I don't remember the entire gimmick, but it's like you take the DS camera and you look at something with a circle, and it would generate a dungeon based off of the pattern of the circle or something like that.
Like a QR code.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And then most recently, we've had the remaster, the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon DX.
I have it. I haven't really gotten into it. I've gotten past the Skarmory section.
It's great. It's like a perfect remaster of Red and Blue, just with all of the updated mechanics. Just as long, pretty much the same story, but updated graphics, updated music, and it looks so good. It feels new, but it's also nostalgic. And oh my gosh.
I think growing up, the only time I played it was at my friend's house because he had it. And he never let me borrow it, which you would probably say was a shame.
A little bit, yeah, but I understand, like, people...
I mean, he let me borrow Metroid Fusion. I considered it a fair trade.
All right. But no, yeah, the main gimmick behind... I'm looking it up just to make sure. The main gimmick behind the Gates of Infinity was generating dungeons based off of real-world things you scanned.
It's a cool feature to have, though. It's basically like modern-day Metrovanias with random procedural generation.
Yeah. It was very poorly received, though, because it didn't... Aside from that generation, it didn't add anything to the series. It didn't improve on anything.
But you have... Yeah, I get you. But I always give Nintendo props on this, is they always push the weird stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like the Wii U, or Nintendo Labo, or weird mechanics.
And the best part is they learn from it. You see a lot of companies push the weird things, and then they don't learn from it. It's like, well, then what was the point?
Nintendo stuff.
Like Zelda crossbow training.
I had a lot of fun with that.
I never played it.
It was super simple. It is literally you just have a crossbow, you go down a field, and you shoot. It was so simple, and it worked.
I feel like it was a tech demo for the motion control.
It probably was.
I've never played a single Zelda game.
Okay, what?
I'm an understanding and simple person, but I think you might have lit a fuse on Vol here.
I mean,
and
I get it.
Step out for
I get it, but here's the thing: that's like not playing Call of Duty.
Call of Duty.
I played Black Ops.
But I'm saying, growing up, you have played Call of Duty at least once.
Yeah, but like,
the thing is
it just never like.
I had Call of Duty 2.
I mean,
Big
I had
Red 1. I played the crap out of it.
It just wasn't something that I gravitated towards it. And Tacoma in chat says she's never played a Zelda game. It's just not. I mean, like I said, it's just not. I never gravitated towards it. You know, like just. I mean, I guess you don't know because you're probably looking at your screen like, this motherfucker never played no Zelda. Like,
Legend of Zelda is considered one of the most influential and popular game series of all time.
Yeah.
I get it. Not everyone has played it. I get it. But, like, I mean...
I believe you.
It's so
Still
good.
Not gonna pick one up.
And they have spin-offs with different mechanics. Like, I'm sure you wouldn't enjoy the old style where you couldn't, like, jump, go over things, but I feel like you would love Breath of the Wild.
I never...
Did you like Skyrim?
You keep asking me questions that are going to hurt you.
What?
Oh, damn.
Okay, we're getting sidetracked.
Okay, let's continue on here. I can't...
Couple games.
Yeah. I have to get you to play these games.
Anyway, did you have more that you want to say about Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Frog?
All right, yeah.
Just that I really like how it took the same characters behind Pokemon and just took it in a completely different direction that worked. I loved it because I got to be some of my favorite Pokemon. You bet your bottom I've played as Bulbasaur, I've played as Turtwig. I've done it all.
You wasn't part of Squirt Gang, bro?
I liked getting Cyndaquil. But my DX version has the remaster version. I'm Charmander, which I'm fine with.
So the one thing I do want to mention is in the old versions you would take a test and then that'd just be your Pokemon. You didn't really get a pick. Like it'd do a little what Pokemon are you quiz. And it was
But based on your personality and the answers, you got your Pokemon type.
You could.
But they did away with that, didn't they?
Yeah. I mean, they still do the quiz and they're like, hey, this is what we think you are. But then like, if you want to pick another one, go for it. So what I decided to do is to keep true to the old is still pick the Pokemon I want to be, but then when you get to pick your partner Pokemon, I picked it as the one I was supposed to be, just as a sort of thing of respect for the old games. And I will also never replace my partner Pokemon in my party. Get that out of here.
I'm a Charmander, and who is my partner again? I forgot. I think it was a water type, just to balance out the fire. All
right.
right,
So
Angel,
my
it's your
second
turn for your second.
was Final Fantasy X. Just because I was not really prepared for the emotional roller coaster I went through playing this game.
No spoilers, please.
Oh, come on.
So
I do plan to play it.
Okay.
yeah, without any spoilers and stuff like that, the story of that game, like, I mean, I'd say probably because I never like really experienced 7, probably how I feel about 10 and wanting to follow it through to like 10-2 and stuff like that is probably how most people feel, or on some level about 7, like, because this is my like this is the first Final Fantasy game that I had like played through and I beat it and stuff. Man, like, you're eliminating me here, man, but like, just to give you an idea, like,
All right, just spoilers. I mean, I know what happens in
I
7,
was-
and I'm still gonna play it.
the feelings and emotions I had for this game led me to make with Havoc, my group, off of our first album, we had a song called "Don't Go," and I basically took it was like one of the very early AMVs I did, or whatever, or gaming, or GMVs, or whatever, like gaming music videos I ever did. And I edited it on Windows Movie Maker, so it was a labor of love. If anybody's ever edited video on Windows Movie Maker, oh god,
Oh, it's terrible,
on, like,
I tell you.
it was an old PC.
Nothing
too,
should
so
be
it was
made on that.
slow. God, no, it was my laptop, but it was still slow, and I was trying to edit.
congratulate you on
music
that,
and
my man.
everything. It's no Final Cut. It's no iMovie. Okay, it was hard. Okay.
So what you're saying
What,
is
video?
I should find that.
Yeah, I can link you to it. No problem.
Yeah, it's somewhere on
It's
YouTube,
just
isn't it?
dope. I was actually really proud of it. The one thing that I do regret was I don't know
Rather have
how at
embarrassing
some
material on
point
you.
the audio and the video had gotten off of the way I had edited it or whatever. So there was one particular cut that I really wanted to use, and I had to shrink it just so I could realign everything else and still have everything else running smooth. But other than that, like, the video itself was great. It was like, it was for Don't Go and everything like that. But that was like I guess my love letter to Final Fantasy X and 10-2, because I just was so enamored with the game and the characters and the story that it told. It's great. You're gonna have a great time.
Okay, cool. My only problem with right now is I don't know what platform to get it on, because I'm really moving towards, like, I want to get physical copies of games for offline stuff. So I don't get single player games digitally anymore. Try not to. I guess that leads us into our third picks. My third pick, Hollow Knight. My favorite Metrovania game of all time. It is the Dark Souls of Metrovania. If you've seen anything about Hollow Knight, it is very much bugs. You play a guy named the Knight. You go to different parts of the kingdom, where the different types of animals that all look like bugs, and there's a squid. There's not, like, it's really interesting. The game, like, it doesn't really tell you anything about the world, as you're walking in the aftermath of a destroyed kingdom. And as you explore, you learn more about what happened before the fall and how the kingdom was created, but you don't really learn much about the people in the kingdom, time before the kingdom. There's like so much mystery in the game, surrounded by like this darkness and eeriness because the way the soundtrack plays and how the characters are. The knight doesn't talk, so like he's basically just a blank slate, and he just has people talking to him. They understand him somehow. And the interesting thing to me is the fight mechanics. Like how I said, it's Dark Souls like. Because if you learn the patterns of a boss, you can beat a boss without being touched. I had to do it because they have a boss rush mode later in the game from one of the free DLCs. And the story is like just amazing. You're a knight going into this fallen kingdom. After you journey from outside the kingdom, you learn that there's this cursed place in this kingdom. And there's this Temple of the Black Egg, which harbors this great infection that is actually starting to break out now. And you take it upon yourself to break the curse on the temple, defeat the infection inside. And without going into spoilers, because it's really interesting, there's multiple endings to the game they added. as they added each DLC in the game was free, so each DLC added a more true ending. Like the original ending was like you defeat the final boss, the infection is sealed again, and then as like the DLC progresses, it slowly gets better and better to the point where like, oh, this, I'm liking the ending of this stuff because like they had a Halloween DLC, which, oh my god, Grim Troop final boss on nightmare mode. Oh, I have never faced a boss before where I literally had to dance to defeat the dude. Like, have you seen those like pro Dark Soul players? They're just like dancing around the boss. I had to learn that on a Metrovania. It was tough. I had to like, at one point I got so sweaty I almost had to take my shirt off.
Oh dang.
The combat, it doesn't punish you. Like you get to you die and you're like, I know what I did. I can do better. It never makes you feel like I'm tired of this. Let's stop because I'm getting angry at myself. Like it makes you go back into it. I have put 115 hours into my first file, and I haven't even completed all of the DLC. Granted, because one of the DLCs is a boss rush mode where you got to defeat like 7 bosses per Pantheon without dying, and the only way to truly complete a Pantheon is to activate the skulls and like limit your health regen, limit your damage, limit your spells. It's terrible, but I gotta do it. It's so good. Anyways, okay, Frog, you're number 3.
Just double checking my list, but it should be Monster Hunter World / Monster Hunter World Iceborne. So Monster Hunter World was actually my first dive into the Monster Hunter series. Technically, okay.
Same here.
Technically, my first dive was I used to work for a theater, and in cleaning out the trash under.
You found a Monster Hunter.
I found one of the Monster Hunter games. I think it was like Monster Hunter 4 or something for the DS. And I tried playing it. I'm like, I have no idea what the hell's going on here. None of this makes sense. I was trying to use a gun lance, and it made no sense to me. And I gave up. And then Monster Hunter World came around, like, this looks really good. Can't wait for it to come out on PC. And it did. My friends and I put hours and hours into that game. Like, in the 3 or 4 months after it came out, we probably already had like 300 to 400 hours.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was great. We loved it. It's a really simple principle. You take a big weapon and you hit even bigger monsters with it.
So
That mainly look like dinosaurs.
There are a lot of dinosaurs. Well, there's a lot of dragon ones now too, especially in World.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, who doesn't like fighting
that was the
dinosaurs with big
attraction to
swords?
me. And my wife
Sure.
actually, because she loves animals and stuff like that, she was like kind of disappointed in me when I bought it. She was like, "Why are you doing this? Like, why are you're just going around killing all these animals?" I was like,
They're not
What?
animals, they're monsters.
but like,
Just
It's called Monster Hunter.
I mean,
Tell her they're monsters, not
technically,
animals.
I mean, that game.
There's a distinction.
make sure you always use traps to capture them and tell them it's ecological preservation.
Also, to be
You gotta study them.
Unless
Yeah, that means
unless they're elder dragons, in which their mere existence actually puts a danger to the ecosystem, and you're saving all of the other animals.
mean,
Because that's how this works that's how it works in that game.
to be
Tell her
fair,
the
though,
elder
I had
dragons
no
are real
idea of,
rigs.
like, that it was a boss rush and stuff like that. So it lost its novel to me really fast and stuff like that when it started taking me like 20 minutes to kill everything. I was like,
That's fair.
I'm just not.
It is. It's a very grindy game,
Respect it.
but I'm a person who enjoys that. And then I think my main weapon for the longest time was the light bow gun. Had a lot of fun with that, and I still do. I still run around with light bow guns, especially now that there's a light bow gun that lets you do rapid fire explosive shots, which is
Oh, I know.
just
you're talking
insane in terms of the
about gun sword thing.
No, the Brachydios light bowgun will do a rapid fire shot, which means one ammo fires 3 shots. So one explosive ammo
up a what?
shoots 3 explosive shots at the same damage, and monsters go boom, and it's fun.
Okay, that's all I needed to know was that last piece.
Yeah,
Because I have no idea what you just said.
that's fair.
Something lightning thing.
For Monster Hunter fans, though, I do feel compelled to tell you that I am a hunting horn main, which is sort of like the support weapon, except it's not, because it's essentially a really big instrument that you hit them with to make notes. And then when you have enough notes, or when you play the right notes in a certain order, you play a song that buffs your team.
You're a bard that hits things.
It is a very aggressive bard that also does the same amount of damage as a bunch of other weapons, while also doing bard
I lost
things.
you both.
So with support that attacks, you're a sentinel.
That's actually
You're a,
not a bad.
you're a titan sentinel.
That's not a bad description, actually.
Yeah, I using Destiny stuff as a metaphor. It sounds like right. Sounds right. I have it. Never really got into it.
Well, I love it. And
I mean,
I like trying it again. That's just my backlog.
Insectglaive, to be honest, that was that and the twin knives. I like both of those.
those are pretty good.
The last weapon I used, you charge it.
Was it
It looks like a big.
was it just the big
was
sword,
it?
or
No. It transforms.
the charge blade, or the switch axe?
Charge blade.
Okay, that one's a really fun one because it's the most.
Because I had a buddy of mine who told me that if you can learn the mechanics of that, you'll do like the most damage.
It is. I think it's technically the second most damage, but it is the most.
This was back way before Iceborne came out.
Well, no, even
So it's probably
even
the-
in just regular world, the great sword is still the highest base
okay.
damage because it's literally a sword that's about 7 to 8 feet long and about 2.5 feet wide, probably based on character models that you just slam into their face.
Okay.
But the charge blade is nice because it's the most technically challenging weapon, and I enjoy that. So it was a lot of fun to learn, and it is high damage. I think it is the second highest damage next to the greatsword.
Yeah, I just listened to what my buddy was telling me about
Well, your buddy knows what's up.
because he played it a lot. So I figured, I'll listen to the guy's advice. All right, Havoc, it looks like it's your turn.
So the next one, probably giving away everything about my taste in women.
Your wife there?
But no. Although my wife is a redhead, so again, dead giveaway. And my wife can be a little crazy sometimes. But anyway, one of my favorite game series was Blood Rain, and I'm really sorry, but just to give my honest reasons why or whatever, it's a sexy badass vampire chick like killing people and like sucking their blood.
So
like, being able to just do that is the most guilty pleasure game for me like ever. Like that shit.
No
was
shame
awesome.
in honesty, my dude.
So would you enjoy Bayonetta?
I did enjoy Bayonetta. What you mean? That shit was dope too. Because I just felt like they gave me Blood Rain,
Was there
but a witch.
there was a movie for it?
All the movie was just the story of the game.
Yeah, but did you like it?
Still,
Fucking loved it.
Huh.
Again,
I'm learning a lot today.
I can't remember if I lost it. I had to check. But yeah.
They have a movie called Blood Rain: The Third Reich.
So the only good Blood Rain movie, and I'm hesitant to say that, was the first one. The other two after that, nah.
Yeah, video game movies are usually good. There's a comic book.
The comic book was pretty good. I didn't read it so much as I saw the chapters and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Bet you did.
Yeah, not gonna go into that one, but yeah. So just like, again, I mean, it just appealed to like my baser desires. I guess probably the most clean, honest way I could say why I like Blood Rain, but it was fucking awesome. And Blood Rain is sexy as shit. So yeah, no really
That lady
need
from
to go
Fast
into
and the
too
Furious
much
was in the
detail
movie.
there. It's just fun, man. Like who?
The one that
Yeah, Michelle Rodriguez. She was in
yeah, her.
yeah, she was in that joint.
Wow.
I mean,
So is Ben Kingsley?
again, I'm telling you this. It's okay for the movie. Like, it wasn't like a true and brilliant representation of the game at all.
I get you,
Period.
but I think Ben Kingsley is a great actor.
Great. He's again terrible writing. If I had to say anything,
I guess. Yeah, I get you. How's the story of it?
the story.
Or did you
Oh,
really
it's
not
great.
like pay
I mean, I
attention to that
just, if I recall, she was fighting Nazis and stuff like that. She was like kind of like America's like secret weapon and stuff like that. But basically, what she was doing, she was hunting down her father, because her father had basically she was like, that was her goal, kill him. And he was trying to basically raise a vampire army using the Nazis.
Oh, was he the big bad?
Say what?
He was the big bad?
Yeah, ultimately. And then like I think the end of the first game she found him, and then the second game basically started, she found him, and then he escaped by like throwing a fucking grenade in this building that she was in and stuff like that. And she thought he had died, he had perished, but his work didn't, or whatever. I can't remember it, but like Blood Rain 2 kind of went into like this coven that he had built with like all of her like siblings and shit like that were pure blood, who hated her obviously because she's this half-breed going around and killing everybody. But man, yeah, I used footage from that game to make a video too.
Not surprised at this point now.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah, usually if it's an anime or a video game that I like, there's odds are that I really really like. Odds are there's like an AMV somewhere on my YouTube with it. I did one with Underworld, Blood Rain, Final Fantasy 10 and 10-2, Final Fantasy Advent 7 Advent Children. I did one using Tenchi. I did two using Bleach.
You're bringing that back.
Yeah. But we're on video games because that's a whole other tangent.
Yeah, so I guess that leads us into my next pick, which is Oliver pick. Destiny.
It's about time to talk about it. Yeah,
we're gonna talk about it eventually. We can't go too far because if not, this episode will be another hour long.
That's what the rest of the series is for, right?
Sure.
Or the rest of the podcast.
Yeah, this is what this whole podcast is about. Us, our love of Destiny and the world. I jumped in. I want to say near the end of Dark Below, because I somehow convinced my dad to buy it. I don't know how, and he got the season pass for 1 and 2, Dark Below and House of Wolves. I started playing it on his account, so I got really into it. Because he was like, "Sure, yeah, level up my character, get stuff for me," and then Trials happened. I fell in love with Trials because let's see, I had the Hyga Noblesse Scout Rifle with what was the shotgun? What was it was some stupid shotgun, probably the Invective. Even though I don't think it was out at the time. It was I think the Trials shotgun at the time, or the Iron Banner shotgun. It wasn't Felwinter's Law, I can tell you that much. With the Gallowhorn as my exotic heavy, because of course you are. If it wasn't the Gallowhorn, it was the Mida. And that just like propelled my love of the game. Then Taken King rolls around, and the music, it's like you open that splash screen and you hear the of Regicide. It's crazy. I loved it. And then the story. Taken King is really where I got into the lore of the game, which has spiraled us
what we do
into now. To what we do. Yeah. Okay, update real quick. Only 600,000 completions for the freaking IO.
By the way,
what is this madness?
What was the bar again?
It was at 12%
right now.
yesterday.
As of my last refresh of Ishtar Commander, they're at 2,434,300 and 300.
They're gonna complete this tonight.
353 completions. Yeah, so 2.4 million.
This is another reason why I love this game. People are crazy.
GG community. GG.
This is why I love this game. People are crazy. Like,
this is a community that loves grinding.
I get it. Like all of this, I get it. All the salt that exists in this community, all of the problems we have with the game. At the end of the day, we still love this game. We still do crazy stuff like this. It has been a full week, and we almost hit the 9 million goal. Your love of Destiny?
Yeah. So, I should say I didn't come into Destiny until the launch of Destiny 2. Part of the reason I didn't get it, I missed out on a lot of games is because I only really had Nintendo consoles growing up.
I get you.
For the most part, it was the DS, and then by chance we lucked into a Wii. That's a whole other story.
Probably because, growing up, it was cheaper than full consoles.
Yeah. And so I didn't get to... I saw some friends play it, and then when Destiny 2 started rolling around, I had some friends who were like, hey, this was a really friggin' amazing game on consoles, and it's coming to PC now. You should join us on it. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, this game looks amazing. And so I played on launch for Destiny 2. I think I was even part of the beta.
Yeah, I was.
And it was a bit of a hot mess on launch, but I didn't care because I was so enamored with the game. It looked amazing. I loved the story. Zavala's voice actor hit me out of nowhere because he's I can't remember the voice actor's name, but he's part of another show that my family loves called Fringe.
He's like
Lance Reddick.
Oh, he was in Fringe.
He was in The Wire.
Lance
too.
Reddick, thank you. Yeah, he was.
Hold on.
He was the main.
Indeed.
He was like the head FBI agent.
Really?
Yeah,
He was in John Wick too.
yeah, he was.
The concierge.
And so, like, I was not expecting to hear his voice, but oh my gosh, it was great. And I love hearing his
so
voice every
silky.
time I go to Zavala. And
Indeed.
let's see, I played up through Warmind, and after Warmind, I took a pretty long break until Shadowkeep rolled out.
It's a long break.
Yeah. And I didn't, and I was catching up on content through Forsaken, and I started getting into the lore because I did the Ace of Spades mission, and going through Cade's caches, I'm like, who are all of these people? What did each of these mean? And I watched Bife's video, and that's when I started to fall down the rabbit hole, and it was a great rabbit hole. Still is.
It's a wonderful rabbit hole.
It's got so much extra story. I love it, and I wish more of it came out in the main game. I wish we got to interact more with more of it. And it's just
Well,
so great.
given some spoilers for future content I have seen, you might get some of that wishing.
Yes.
I'm not gonna say what it is,
I'm just excited.
because one, we're streaming. Two, I don't want to spoil
Yeah,
it for you.
I'm really excited for the rest of the progression of this quest because the things I know are coming, but I don't know like all the details. I just kind of know from what's been hinted at from data miners and stuff. So
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I need to catch up a bit this season. School's been really
Yeah, I've been
crazy
playing
for
Backseat.
me this quarter, and I haven't gotten around to it.
Yeah, I've been taking this season as like one of
Yeah,
my
I
first
haven't.
few breaks from the game. One, because the events quite grindy. Two, I've been doing some very hard classes. Three, Apex Legends is really fun.
Yeah, nah, for me, I wouldn't say I've taken a concentrated break. It's just like I get exhausted because of all the constant issues with the community. There's always this kind of, it's always seemed like if the game is going well, or rather, if the game's in a bad
If the game is going well, they kind of
if
want
the game is
something
going
more.
poorly, it's like all Bungie's fault, and it's just that stuff gets kind of really hard to deal with, and trying to be like a
As the old
Right,
saying
and I mean,
goes, you
I
can't
try to
please
be-
everybody.
at the end of the day, toxicity aside and stuff like that, the brighter elements of the community make me want to be a better person, and I can feel that like bleeding into my personality and stuff like that. Things that I want to change, people that I've met that have made, like, have just opened up my perspective, and just kind of my quality of life has changed playing this game. I came in at Rise of Iron and stuff, and I've told the story a dozen times, so I'm not gonna burn up the time doing that. But just in general, I feel like Destiny 2 in general, I'm really excited for the summer and really excited for the fall, because I feel like I've always felt rewarded during these low points, because I remember the state the game was in when Destiny 2 launched. I remember going through that huge, insane exodus of players at Curse of Osiris because people were so done, and then
Warmind was like
Warmind
the
actually
nail.
did a lot of things to make things better and stuff like that, but it was still trying to. Yeah,
It wasn't enough at the
Curse
time.
of Osiris, I think, was kind of
yeah, Curse of
just bad. But
I mean,
Warmind was
I
a
don't
step
know. I
up.
think
It was
that
the-
It was a
even
step
with
back in the
this
right direction.
season being
Curse
as
of
bad as it
Osiris-
is, or as not as good as it is. I think even with this season, with the overall state of the game being the way it is, I still don't think it's where it was at Curse of Osiris at all. And I think sometimes people.
Yeah, It's because I think it was because Chris Osiris
Yeah.
gave us the least amount of stuff,
Yeah, this
story wise,
Yeah.
content wise, and weapon wise.
it was a really short story, this really small area to explore,
6
and the
missions.
boss
even the-
fight was
Even
fairly
like literally
disappointing. I
every
feel like.
aspect of that DLC was disappointing for like everybody. Like there was literally not one element of the community that didn't feel that DLC's disappointment. Like even the lore. And don't get me wrong,
I liked one part
I
of
thought
it.
it was cool for what it was. I thought it could have been better. I honestly I felt a little bit more disappointed with Warmind just because I felt like there was so much more stuff that could have been done. With Zol and Nokris specifically. But
Oh yeah,
I
Yeah.
think we're kind of getting a little bit more of a cleanup with the Rasputin elements with this season. But yeah,
yeah, I like
that's
it.
I guess why I would put Destiny in my favorites list is that it's not just so much as the game, it's just everything that kind of the game has kind of, I guess, de facto brought into my life. A lot of good vibes, a lot of inspiration, through playing this game and meeting you guys and others and stuff. It's kind of given me my creativity back. And I'm actually really glad that I can kind of, share all these like bigger life accomplishments and stuff like that with, all the friends I've made in the community and, have the creativity and inspiration I've gotten from the community be part of that. So yeah.
Oh yeah,
Definitely made
Like,
some wonderful friends through this game.
oh yeah, like the guys over at
Mm-hmm.
people from over at Focused Fire, Ishtar Collective, by himself,
Dude.
Myelin.
Yeah,
Gamma Trap.
I'll say
Some great
saying
people.
this. One of the highlights of my year last year was just having dinner, and it was all of us for the most part. It was me and Vol,
The Chinese place?
Green and Jay from Focus Fire, Baxter,
Baxter, Ninja, and
Right,
Purple
Myelin and
Chimera
Man
from
at Arms,
Ishtar Collective.
fucking
Man at Arms is
and
hilarious.
Pins, and then there's a couple of others there that I can't recall by name. Mal was there as well.
Baxter's girlfriend. I gotta
Yeah, it's
hold on, let me
great.
pull the picture up real quick.
Send me
fun.
that picture. If
We
you
took
can,
quite a few
'cause
pictures.
I know it's probably lost in my Facebook somewhere.
I got a few, man. My first Guardian Con was with Green, Purple, Baxter, Beard, Blue, a lot of color.
A lot of color.
Bye. You got to think. We have Purple Chimera, you have Green Eyed Music Lover, and you have Blue Crew.
Oh man.
You're not wrong.
So we got Purple, Baxter, their significant others, Man at Arms, Green, Blue, Myelin, I think Family of Myelin, me, Lost, and whoever was behind me. I don't recognize this one dude. I don't know. Two of them I can't recognize, but I think they were either like huge, big parts of Focused Fire or with Man at Arms. Like they did a lot. But yeah, they were great people. One of the reasons why I love this game is that everything we've done, like bring people together, stuff like that. I guess that'll wrap up our Destiny section of our top 5 games. And our finalists, not the ones that made the cut, but we're definitely on the list. Like, because, we're not ranking these. Right now, I would have to say it's Animal Crossing. It is the first game, I think, that I have played truly casual.
I really should get
Like,
it.
people say it's an escapist fantasy to where you can actually pay your mortgages.
Hey man.
Like, I don't know what that's like. And, like, I'm having fun building an island to place the way I want it, the way I want it to look like. I'm
Everybody-
getting,
Uh,
there's a star rating. Like,
Everybody that I
I'm
know and I'm close with plays Animal Crossing. Like it's to the point where like I'm like
oh my
Me,
gosh, right?
hip, most likely green. Most of my buddies from Ghost Stories play it. Actually, all of my buddies from Ghost Stories
Like,
play it.
Like me and my
I'm-
girlfriend were like,
I'm pretty
literally
sure
talking and
Purple
stuff
plays
like
it.
that, and she was like, "You should get Animal Crossing," and then my clanmates are like, "Yo, good Animal." I was like, "I don't have a Switch."
so much
yo.
fun,
Even
like-
if I get a Switch, I can't really justify getting another game console that just cut. And then I had to stop myself because my girlfriend literally got like a PS4 on Black Friday so we could play Destiny together.
I bought a Nintendo Switch just for Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild when it came out. I paid $360 for one game.
My big Switch game
was
was
so worth
Odyssey, Super Mario Odyssey.
That was a cherry on top for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I
mainly
might
got it
get
from
I
everyone.
might get a Switch Lite and get into that joint at some point.
I have someone who plays it and they love the light. My only downside to it is not, you can't connect it to a TV. And if recently I've had the Switch since the first one like the first it came, when it came out, like March of 2017. So from then to now, my one of my Joy-Cons went bad. Like it's starting to stick kind of annoyingly and bad. And having the original Switch, I can just take the Joy-Con off, buy a new one, put it in. You can't do that with a light.
That is true.
So the Joy-Cons are expensive.
Does the light
light's fine.
have the Joy-Con drift problem?
I don't think so because it doesn't have those motion controls to that level. I think because you can't detach them.
Right. Huh. I mean, the light.
Because the drift was happening when
seems-
the drift was happening when you take them off of the console.
Oh,
to my knowledge.
it's an interaction between the motion controls of
Yeah.
the.
It's when it goes wireless. There's a drift happening, usually on the left Joy-Con. Anyways, I love Animal Crossing. It's my first Animal Crossing. It's the first game I've played of the series, and it's like it's so much fun. It's so relaxing. Plant some trees, grow some fruit. Try to find that crazy pig lady who sells turnips so you can make a profit every weekend.
Oh God.
It's soothing.
Nice.
It's soothing. I went through a rough time a few weeks ago, and it helped. It was great.
Very nice. It does seem like a relaxing game.
Plus,
So
the music is good too.
my honorable mention is a game that.
Oh, we're doing our last five, not the
Oh
others yet.
well, I kind of put mine in my top 5 because I wasn't sure what else to add. It's a game but not a video game. I have one, and it's a game but not a video game. Does that count?
Is it a mobile game?
No.
What is
It's
it?
Dungeons and Dragons, and if you want to shut me
that's
down
fine.
right now,
fair
that's
game.
fine.
That's fair game. Go for it.
Okay.
It's Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay.
You just put DQ, so I didn't know what you meant.
Oh, DQ is Dragon Quest, and that
yeah,
game was
okay.
supposed to be my
So
honorable
not Dairy
mention.
Queen.
That's a whole other thing, though, I guess. So I have been playing Dungeons and Dragons for about, oh my god, I'm old. I'm older now. 18 years now.
How old are you?
I'm 22. I've been playing
Okay, so that's young.
since I was 7. The quick story
That's-
is that I met my best friend at swim lessons, found out he lives 2 minutes away. I've been going over to his house for a while, and his dad has been running a campaign for over 30 years now.
Oh, wow.
And every guest that comes to his house, he's like, "Hey, you want to play Dungeons and Dragons?" And I'm like, sure, if my mom will let me. Sounds fun. And so ever since I was 7 years old, I was going to that house every week to play Dungeons and Dragons for the better part of 18 years.
What level is your character now?
Oh, that's the wrong question. I have had over probably around 200 characters over the 18 years.
Wow.
And
My only experience with D&D is knowing it exists, having some friends who played it,
the
and watching the first season of Harmon Quest.
newest, the 5th edition D&D is actually quite popular with a lot of people nowadays. But the thing is he's been playing 1st edition for the better part of the 30 years. And that game
He's a
compared...
classic man.
What?
It's a classic man.
It is. But the thing is that game compared to now is a completely different world and a lot more savage is the best way I can put it. It's like nowadays it's like, oh, your character is low hit points, make a death saving throw and maybe you live, or it's a lot harder to kill your character. Back then, it was straight up, hey, make this really hard saving throw or just straight up die. Doesn't matter how many hit points you had, doesn't matter how hard it was to hit you, doesn't matter your defense.
It was basically
just
Oregon Trail.
die. It was the 1st edition is the Wild West, and oh my god, it's crazy and I love it.
Do you have a first edition book?
I bought one, but I left it at their house because that's where we'd always play, and it kind of just lives there now. Which I'm not really upset about. It gets good use. And then when I went off to school, my roommate was a dungeon master for 5th edition, and he got a game going, and that's when I started playing the new edition, the 5th edition. So I've got some experience in that. And 5th edition is still really enjoyable. And I don't know. It's hard to say which edition I would prefer. It's just
Sounds like the first for like each one, like 1 and 5 to you sounds like very, very different reasons you enjoy them.
it is. But the thing is I want people, because there are people who would consider themselves very serious about 5th edition. I want them to experience what 1st edition is like, just to know how good they have it. It's my old man boomer thing, whatever you want to call it. but they should
The
experience
hill
it.
you're gonna die on.
It is the hill I will die on. Yes.
All right,
Havoc.
Lost. What's your number 5?
My number 5 is Saints Row 4 and Gat Out of Hell because they're kind of like the same shit. I just remember I got Saints Row 4. I think when I first got it, it was like for PS3 for Christmas and stuff. Just because I had seen the Saint Row games kind of advertised and stuff, and I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting and stuff like that. It seemed like a GTA kind of realm type thing, but when I got it, I was like, I need something. This will be something, right? I get this shit, and you get like, I got the collector's edition and stuff like that. So you had all this like DLC that you could get, like where you unlock all the superpowers. And again, I don't know anything about this game, so I unlocked all that shit to start, right? So get these. First off, just the dialogue and the writing of the game is just hilarious and shit because it's like the most gangster shit ever. Like it's just like how like you would like just like hear people talk like in the hood and stuff like that, just like the general banter and stuff like that, like any like street movie. That's this game. So I'm eating it up, and then like you start the game as like you're the president of the United States and shit. Fucking Keith David is your like head of state or something like that. It's totally ludicrous, right? And then you're about to give your address. You're about to address the nation, and then aliens attack, and then you're put in the simulation.
I heard there's some very interesting weapons in the game.
Shenanigans. Yeah, there are some very interesting weapons. It's definitely an 18 and up type of game. There's shenanigans and, excuse my language, fuckery abound. I just have
Shenaniganery.
Basically. But God, it's so fun. It's a guilty pleasure type of thing, man. Like one of the superpowers is you could fly, and the other one is like super speed and stuff like that. So literally, once I got those, I literally never grabbed a car for anything in that game. The entire.
It sounds like one of those games you can just turn your brain off and just enjoy.
Yes, absolutely. And
it's always fun.
Yeah, it's great. So I guess moving forward to wrap up, I guess we should do our honorable mentions.
I have 2. Dust and Elysian Tale, platformer game that was an indie game supported and promoted by Xbox.
Okay.
I have bought it on almost every platform it is available on. Xbox, PC, iPad.
Okay.
iPad. All right.
And then I have Project Zyfeed, which I think was a remake of an old Atari game named Zyfeed. It's very much like anime, but you're fighting in space with spaceships. Like if there's a space war going on, and you get to fight in a space fighter jet, and you get to shoot stuff with customizable weapons and upgradable weapons. And I bought it not knowing what it was from like a local game store. And when I picked it up, I'm like, this is amazing. And ever since then, I haven't been able to find a space game that feels like that. I know there's other games like Elite Dangerous or some of the other ones they got. Whatever's on the Xbox Game Pass. I tried them. They just don't feel good. Like the ships are too loose. Too like the physics doesn't really work. But it was so good. Those are my obscure games I loved growing up.
So originally I only had one, but hearing you, I remembered another one. So the one I just remembered is this old game series called Descent, where you controlled a spaceship in a 6 degrees of freedom area. You had to go through space stations, complete a mission in the ship. You would destroy the reactor and get out or something like that. I don't know, actually. I can't really compare it to anything.
That's an old game.
Oh, yeah, it's really old. The person who got me into it was
94.
actually my dad and then my brother.
94.
Yeah. And then the other game that I really want to mention is a game for the DS called Dragon Quest Heroes Rocket Slime.
What a name.
Was incredibly simple. You were a slime, and the baddies, and that was part of the term they actually used was baddies. It was great. Essentially kidnapped your entire town, and you survived because you had a weird flute stuck in you that made you didn't look like a slime because you stretched around the flute, and you just got thrown over the river. And so you had to go rescue everyone in your town. The special part, though, was that the flute would summon a giant tank. And there were these really simple tank battles where you just put things in a cannon and shoot them at the enemy tank, and it would deal damage based on the item you put in, and items would collide in the air.
So like worms.
Yeah. It was
Everything you
That's so weird.
it was weird,
said
but
it.
it was simple, it worked, and I've played through that game multiple times.
Everything
Wow.
you've said about this game has made me realize that I'm not a mature person.
I probably
We knew that.
I'm like, oh my god, dirty joke
We
after
knew
dirty
that.
joke after dirty joke. And he keeps
Based
going.
on your favorite selection, Angel, we can determine you're not mature.
damn.
Man, I make fucking comedy skits about Destiny, okay? Like, Christ. I'm trying, okay? I'm trying to be an adult.
You know, I might be in the same place if I wasn't exposed to this game. Like, if I didn't think about this game when I was first exposed as like a child in like, I don't know, 4th or 5th grade was when I first found it.
Yeah, that would do it. That would do it.
It's just it holds a lot for me, and I even will get an emulator and replay it because it's really hard to find. It's like super expensive on eBay nowadays.
So do you have? Okay, so was it like just the physical version of the ROM hard to find?
The physical version. The ROM's
Oh,
the
okay.
ROM's not hard to find, but the physical version goes for like, I don't know, $80 on eBay or something nowadays.
Oh wow.
Exactly small. There's being an adult is all relative anyway, right?
Yeah, it's when you wish you were a kid again.
Huh.
All right, Angel, what's your obscure game that's your honorable mention?
I don't know if it's obscure and stuff like that, and I don't...
What game you didn't think that was too popular that you enjoyed?
A game that wasn't too popular that I enjoyed?
Like Legacy of Kain.
Yeah, like, I mean, everything... I think most of the stuff I named was kind of obscure.
I mean, I've never heard of Blood Rain or Legacy of Kain until like I learned. I never heard it before. Or Gate Out of
I
Hell.
almost feel like this is like kicking something while it's down. But I mean, I enjoyed Anthem until nobody played, and so I couldn't really do anything.
It actually
It looks
seems
good.
Everything is
really
match made. It was great. Like, it conceptually, again, it was one of those things where it's conceptually great, but the execution just fell very, very short.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I first-
there's that, and probably I'm gonna say Assassin's Creed 3. And the reason I say Assassin's Creed 3 is because it was the first Assassin's Creed game that I played through. I had played like Assassin's Creed 1 one time when I was hanging out with my boy Secrets, but Assassin's Creed 3 was like the first Assassin's Creed that I actually played through all the way, and that's what actually that was my introduction to the series. And people were like, "Oh, you gotta play the Ezio collection and stuff like that." But 3 was such a
It's not
departure.
the worst game to get entry into.
Say what?
It's not the worst game to get an entry into.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was, but I enjoyed it very much. I'm a big history buff, and one of my favorite periods in terms of American history, I'd say from a weaponry standpoint, because I also have a fascination with period weapons and stuff like that. The Civil War and Revolutionary War times, just the types of guns and weaponry used and stuff like that. It's just all that shit was like right up my alley. And then just the general mechanics of being able to like parry and stuff like that when you're fighting. Like, it was just a very fun experience and stuff. I'm not very stealthy, so I would fail all the stealth missions, but overall it was cool to play.
I can see that.
It was cool to play. So yeah. And the reason I say obscure because most people kind of come into that series with like the Ezio collection. That was people's gateway into Assassin's Creed. But mine was
understandable.
Assassin's Creed 3.
Yeah, because the Ezio collection of Assassin's Creed is considered the best part of the series.
Yeah,
I hear the recent games have been doing well and are really good. Like
they are
like
fantastic. I actually need to
but
kind of
story
get back
like
into
but
them,
are they connected to the but are they really connected to the story though? Like, because the whole thing about the beginning of the Assassin's Creed series was that they're using the history of these people through your DNA to learn where these ancient artifacts are in modern times. Are they still doing that?
I'd say
Because the modern time people want to take over the world. That's why they're using the DNA stuff. If they're not doing that anymore, it kind of lost the point.
so. I'd
right?
say the newer games, I think, kind of deal more directly with the again, I haven't beaten any one of the newer games, so again, I have to get back to them. But from what I can tell, it seems like the memories are kind of dealing more so with the backstory of like how the assassins and the Templars came to be, and what their overall goals are, and maybe even the higher beings that those artifacts come from.
That makes sense with names like Origin.
With Origin and what's the Greek one?
Odyssey.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess that wraps up our favorite games.
Yeah, this is actually fun. I think we should.
We might do more special episodes like this.
Yeah.
Similar to how Focused Fire does their stuff. I'm hoping the next episode will be a lore episode, but it's times have been crazy. We'll figure it out.
We will definitely figure it out.
We'll get there.
Yeah, it probably won't be bi-weekly because everything's been going on. Everyone's got a lot of stuff to worry about, things to take care of.
I have to find a job soon.
Fair.
Yeah, I work at a grocery store, so I'm working a lot still.
Yeah.
Be safe out there, man. People are being idiots right now.
Seriously.
Oh, trust me, I know. I work with people. I know.
Yeah, I feel like if anyone know, it'd be grocery store and retail workers.
Same.
The last thing I'm going to say tonight is my personal opinion on life is everyone should work 2 years in retail.
I feel like you could learn a lot.
Yeah,
people would be much nicer.
I wouldn't say retail. I would say customer service.
Service industry. Yeah.
Just
Customer
something where you directly
service.
deal with the general public.
At a restaurant or a grocery store.
I will tell you directly that working in customer service will both make you very, very understanding of customer service workers, but it'll also infuriate you when you get horrible service. So
it's like, hey, I know what you're supposed to be doing, just do this, but you're not doing it. Why?
Well, it's not even so much as that, like, you know what I mean, like, there's little things that I think people miss and stuff like that, you know what I mean, because a lot of people get customer service jobs because they're it's usually the
low entry.
There's really not a lot of obstacles to kind of get into like most customer service industries, you know what I'm saying, like retail, for example, and stuff like that. That's kind of like the go-to. But the problem is when you're not a people person, you really shouldn't be going after a customer service job because you're going to have to deal with people all the time.
I feel offended.
You know what I mean? But I mean, some people can. You can be a people person, and you can not be a people person, but still handle a customer service role. It just really kind of depends on the patience that you have with people.
My patience has run slowly out in these last 4 years.
Like, if you're in a situation like my job and stuff like that, or at least my job up until September, because I'm in the leasing office now and stuff like that, or whatever, like, just working in property management and stuff, we represent our company. So, for example, if I'm working at the concierge desk and stuff like that, that's the first face people see when they come into the property and stuff, and I'm just sitting there like frowning, like kind of giving them an attitude and stuff like that. That person's entire idea of living there, which is what they're coming to do, they're coming interested in living there, their entire first impression of the property hinges on that first reaction. And if it's a negative one and stuff like that, it's gonna kind of make it a little bit harder to lease to that person, you know what I'm saying? And
yeah, I mean, I get it, but in terms of like a restaurant or a grocery store, the impact of that smile is going to be a lot less.
Yeah.
Yes.
But like,
just because I say that's more so just the general nature of criticism in general. People are much more likely to, remember a bad experience than like a good one. So it's like,
True.
The unfortunate part with customer service, and I think this speaks more to the service industry and retail, especially as opposed to like my field, is that you almost have to kind of go over the top to even kind of get recognized. You know what I'm saying? Because it's stuff people do every day. So, but yeah. Tidbits for the soul.
We're going to wrap up the episode today. We will hopefully have a lore episode next. We will find out later.
All right.
But for now, thank you for joining us tonight, and we will see you next time.
Thank you everyone for stopping by.
Thank you for watching.